Just because you once told him to break friendship in childhood, your childhood companion suffering from autism used to watch you from a distance in the hot sun. Still, she never dared to come in front of you.
But in the last birth, you used to stay away from her because of her illness. Until this car accident happened. She jumped into the burning fire first and decided to die with you. That's when you realized the deep love hidden in her heart.
That's why, as soon as you came back from the rebirth, you went to meet her first. When you appeared in front of Ban Ningbing, she bowed her head in fear like a child who had made a mistake.
She said, slowly sucking her lips, "Forgive me, just because she didn't listen to you. First, you gave her a strict order that she should never come in front of your eyes again. That helplessness moved a step back, as if she wanted to escape from you.
But her mind and body movements were completely opposite to each other. After moving a step back, she stood still there. You were stunned for a few moments. You never thought that after meeting again after so long, she would forgive you both for the first time."
After saying this, Ban Ningbing quietly started looking at the ground again, and once again, she got stuck in her small world. You knew from childhood that she has autism. Before meeting you both, she didn't even like to talk.
The whole day, she was just staring at the floor and was lost in silence. Doctors said that she is so immersed in her own world that she is not interested in anything outside the world.
But after coming into your life, everything started changing slowly. No matter how much Ban Ningbing's parents explained to her, she was not affected at all. But as soon as you came in front of her, her eyes didn't stop following you.
If we say that Ban Ningbing's world was filled with darkness earlier, you were the only light in her eyes. Later, she got treated for some time and her condition improved a lot. Not only did she start talking, but her illness also started getting better.
After your friendship broke, you heard very little about her. Thinking this, you looked towards Ban Ningbing and asked her slowly, "Are you here to meet me?" Ban Ningbing was still looking at the floor with her head down. She didn't respond at all.
You didn't show any haste and kept waiting patiently. After a few minutes, she slowly shook her head. "So, are you here to meet me? What's the matter?" She again shook her head slowly and said no. You were stunned and stood there, and the atmosphere became completely silent.
You turned your head and couldn't understand what to say for a while. But Ban Ningbing wasn't in a hurry. She was still looking at the floor as if she was lost. This was her condition. She could keep looking like this all day without moving.
Really, there was another kind of restlessness. The driver standing near the car, seeing this scene, started shaking his legs in restlessness, and his mind started rambling. "Miss, you come to Mr. Fong's school gate once a week and wait for him."
Now that you have met him with so much difficulty, then why don't you say anything? At least tell him once that you missed him. This would have been better. Thinking this, the driver took a deep breath out of helplessness.
Suddenly, there was a thumping sound from the stomach, which broke the awkward.
You blinked your eyes and believed that this sound came from Ban Ningbing's stomach. Then you asked, "Are you hungry? Haven't you eaten lunch yet?" Ban Ningbing's eyes shivered slightly and she finally raised her head. She looked at you with bewildered eyes. "Miss, you explained that the sound came from your stomach, which means that you are hungry," Ban Ningbing replied softly. "Oh," then she bowed her head again and got lost while looking at the ground. You shook your head helplessly.
You forgot that Ban Ningbing's thinking is different from ordinary people. Ordinary people think about eating when they are hungry, but she did not understand any such thing. "Come on, I will feed you lunch." You smiled and held her hand. Then you took her to the canteen.
This was natural and familiar. Earlier, when Ban Ningbing used to get lost, you used to hold her hand and take her home. Ban Ningbing was shocked for a moment. Her eyes slowly went to the hands of both of them. Then she smiled slightly.
When the driver saw both of them walking, he quickly followed them. He was afraid that something might happen to Miss. Malik and Malkin had specially instructed her that she should not stay away from Miss even for a moment.
When you reached the canteen, it was time for the class to end.
As soon as a very beautiful girl entered the canteen, everyone's eyes turned towards her. But you did not care about the eyes of the people around you. But Ban Ningbing's whole body became uncomfortable. She squeezed her lips tightly and unknowingly swept closer to you.
Her arms also shrank tightly. Seeing this, the driver felt a bell of danger in his heart. He knew very well that due to Mrs. Disease, she is very sensitive towards others. As soon as a lot of eyes are fixed on her, her emotions get out of control.
And she can also do things like hurting herself or others. Malik and Malkin had given her the order to stay with her all the time, so that when Mrs. Condition deteriorates, he can take care of her immediately. He rushed towards both of them.
You did not pay attention to Ban Ningbing's unusual behavior and asked casually, "What do you like to eat?" At first, you never paid attention to these things and did not even know which dish she likes. At this time, Ban Ningbing's head was constantly in pain.
Her face was clearly visible with irritation. Then she heard your voice, and she was stunned for a moment. The restlessness and irritation inside her slowly started to calm down. She kept looking at you with empty eyes, but she did not answer your question.
You knew her nature very well, so you did not even expect an answer.
You just felt that it would not be right to leave her aside and use the mobile phone yourself, so you started talking to yourself. I remember, at first, you used to pick up the brinjal from my plate and like to eat a lot. Do you still like it?
I will also order a meat dish for you. You should be satisfied. After listening to you, Ban Ningbing's heart was filled with the air of spring, which calmed all her restlessness. Her shrunken arms also became loose, and only your shadow remained in her eyes.
The eyes around her were not able to affect her at all. The driver had just run a few meters when he saw that Ban Ningbing's emotions had completely calmed down. Her steps stopped there, and her eyes spread in surprise.
Earlier, whenever Mrs. Condition used to deteriorate, either she used to harm herself or the people around. Every time, it used to take her more than half an hour to calm down, and she used to handle her condition with great difficulty.
But this time it did not even take 2 minutes and she calmed down. Only then she understood why Madam always used to talk about Mr. Fong's importance. When you reached the window to get food, you asked Ban Ningbing and yourself to get the same kind of food. All right, now let's take the tray and sit on the table and eat. You held her hand and taught her to pick up the tray, but as soon as you tried to take your hand out of her palm, Ban Ningbing's arms shrunk and she again held your hand in her palm.
As soon as she felt the warmth in her palm, her arms became loose again. You released your hand again and explained that you have to pick up the tray now, so you cannot hold your hand. You released your hand and she picked it up again.
This went on for a long time, but she was not ready to let go of your hand. You were helplessly holding her hand. Her stubbornness and difficult nature was the reason why you did not like her earlier. If this had happened in the last birth, you would have been angry long ago.
But once after facing death, you had become much more patient than before. All right, hold my hand. You were helplessly holding her hand.
But as soon as Ban Ningbing saw you writhing in pain, a slight fear appeared on her face. She knew that this was a sign of Feng Yuan's anger. This happened because she did not listen. Whenever she does not listen, Feng Yuan hates her.
He drives her away and never talks to her again. Thinking this, Ban Ningbing's head began to hurt again, as if many steel needles were stuck in her ears. She squeezed her fists with pain and hit her ears hard.
The driver, who was watching you from a distance, was shocked by her sudden behavior. The first reaction of both was that Ban Ningbing's condition had deteriorated again. The driver rushed there and you also held her hand tightly. Then you slowly began to explain to her that nothing happened. We will not let go of your hand. We will keep holding your hand like this. As soon as the driver left, she took out a bottle of medicine from her pocket and began to prepare to give the medicine to Ban Ningbing.
But Ban Ningbing did not pay attention to the driver at all. After a long time, she slowly looked at you and asked in a heavy voice, "Really? Really? You will not let go of your hand, and you will not hate me either?"
You hesitated for a moment, and then immediately raised both your hands in front of her and said, "Really? Look." Seeing this, Ban Ningbing smiled and lowered the hand. Then she quietly stood next to you as if nothing had happened just now. The driver was shocked again.
He had seen for the first time that after the condition of the miss had deteriorated, she had calmed down so quickly that she did not even need to take the medicine. As soon as you blinked, you took the medicine. Mr. Fong, give it to me. You take the miss and sit there.
You also felt that working with one hand is really inconvenient. That's why you shook your head and said, "Then you will have a hard time." You took Ban Ningbing and sat on a corner table in the canteen. The driver quickly brought the food tray for both of them.
You extended your meal card to the driver. You must not have eaten lunch yet. Take my card. Bring food for yourself too. The driver immediately shook his head. He had to be with the miss all the time. How could he dare to go out alone to get food?
If the condition of the miss had deteriorated again and there was no one there, it would have been a big problem. You knew that the rules of a Bai family are very strict. That's why you did not force, and the chopstick stopped Ban Ningbing. Eat food.
Ban Ningbing first saw the chopstick and then saw you. After a long time, she slowly took it in her hand. You also picked up
the chopstick with your left hand. You were not naturally left-handed, but earlier Ban Ningbing was also like this.
Even while eating, she did not stay without holding your hand. Because of this happening again and again, you got used to eating with your left hand. Ban Ningbing used to eat very slowly. She used to chew a bite for a long time. Even while eating, she used to get lost suddenly.
You looked at her and found that in her chopstick there was a piece of meat. A piece of meat is still stuck. Then you realized that she is lost again.
When Ban Ningbing heard your voice, her eyelids shivered a little, and she slowly put the piece of meat in her mouth. Whatever the driver saw today, he had already gone far beyond the limit of surprise.
Who would dare to see her suddenly and put the chopstick in her mouth? Earlier, whenever someone used to trouble her, she used to turn the table in anger. Only Mr. Fang was such who could do this.
When you were eating quietly, suddenly a pair of chopsticks came in your plate and took a piece of eggplant. You looked towards Ban Ningbing. There is still eggplant left in your plate. Ban Ningbing did not give any answer and took a piece of potato from your plate.
You laughed and whined a little. Finally, you put the plate of vegetables towards her. When the lunch was over, it was almost 1 o'clock. The Bai family used to live in Rajdhani, and you used to study in Sioux City in Vishwavidyalaya.
Although both the cities were close to each other, but it took more than 4 hours to go by car. If you had not left now, it would have been difficult to reach on time. You came to drop Ban Ningbing to the college gate and told the driver, "Please take her home."
The driver responded respectfully, "This is my duty. Mr. Fang, you are very kind." As soon as she heard this, Ban Ningbing understood that now she will have to separate from you. She held your hand tighter. You felt the increasing pressure on your palm and looked down.
You could clearly see the pain of deep separation in her eyes. In the last few years, you had seen such eyes many times. Your heart melted a little, and your voice also became soft. Now you should go home. If you are late, Auntie will get worried.
But Ban Ningbing shook her head and refused to let go of your hand. You raised your hand and patted her head with love. Be a good girl. Ban Ningbing's eyes lit up immediately, and her stubbornness also softened in a moment. Fang Yuan had waved his hand on her head.
Whenever you used to convince her for something, you used to wave your hand on her head like this. But later, when you grew up and your friends mocked you for this, you never did this again. You slowly let go of your hand. Okay, now go home.
Ban Ningbing looked at her empty palm, and her mind became restless again. Then you said, "Reach home, message me, and tell me that you have reached safely." Understood. Ban Ningbing lost her focus immediately. She asked, "Will Feng Yuan answer?" You shook your head.
After getting a positive answer, Ban Ningbing rubbed her lips, although there was no special emotion on her face, but you saw a slight smile on the corners of her lips and understood that she was happy.
Ban Ningbing was sitting on the back seat of the car and the driver was taking her home. Her father had said that if she missed someone, she can be sent a message, but she had sent so many messages to Fang Yuan before and never got any answer. But this time, Fang Yuan had promised that he would answer. Ban Ningbing was holding her mobile and was waiting for her to reach home so that she could send a message to Fang Yuan. After seeing Ban Ningbing's car leaving, you came back to your room.
As soon as you opened the door of the room, Xiaoyan clung to you and asked you to tell the truth so that the punishment would be less. If you try to hide it, I will spoil your condition. Tell me quickly, where did you meet such a beautiful girl? Which beautiful girl?
You asked with surprise. Xiaoyan came a little closer and said with full confidence that the one who was with you in the canteen today, the boys of the room next door have told me everything. They said that you were having food with a very beautiful girl in the canteen.
She was beating her head for you and was harming herself. And there was also a man who looked very ordinary but was very happy. He was bringing food for both of you and was serving it. After hearing this from Xiaoyan, you really realized how rumors are born out of thin air.
What are you talking about? You were helpless and gave clarification. I and Ban Ningbing are just friends. That man is the driver of his house. I am not stuck between two girls.
Xiaoyan was shocked. He could not believe it. Do friends hold hands like this? You were speechless for a while. Then you explained that we had not stuck our fingers together, and her condition is a little different. Ban Ningbing has autism.
She has many stubborn habits in her behavior. She often has to listen to her. She has to be explained with love, or her condition will get worse. Xiaoyan's reaction was the same as most people had when they heard about Ban Ningbing's disease for the first time.
Her face was full of surprise and compassion. She sighed twice and said sadly, "It is really sad. Who could have imagined that such a beautiful girl whose beauty would fill up the girls of our entire college would have such a mental illness?" You shrugged a little.
You had heard such things about Ban Ningbing before. At
At 5 in the evening, Ban Ningbing finally reached the home of the Bai family. Liu Huixian had already got the driver's phone, and since then she was standing at the door, waiting for her daughter to return.
5 minutes later, a black car slowly entered the Bai family's mansion. As soon as Liu Huixian saw the familiar number plate, she immediately stepped forward. She saw that her daughter was bowing her head and staring at the mobile. She was lost in thought.
This was not a new sight for her. When her daughter was lost, she would not respond to anyone. Still, she used to go to her daughter's ear and say slowly, "Ningbing, did you have fun going out today? Are you hungry? Mom is cooking dinner right now."
Should I make your favorite eggplant? Ningbing, get out of the car first. Whatever you are thinking, go inside the house and think about it, okay? Bai Ningbing's eyes shivered as if she came out of her mind. Liu Huixian was filled with happiness.
She felt that her daughter would finally talk to her. But Bai Ningbing opened the car door without saying anything and quickly followed her. Bai Ningbing just stood at the main door and did not take a step forward.
She tapped her thumb on the mobile screen a few times and then got lost again while looking at the screen. Her behavior seemed a little strange, but Liu Huixian immediately noticed that the corners of her daughter's lips were slightly raised.
This clearly indicated that her mood was very happy. If the daughter was happy, she looked at the mobile screen. What are you looking at?
But when she looked at the things written on the screen, the smile on Liu Huixian's face suddenly froze, and the happiness on her lips slowly disappeared. It was clearly visible on the mobile screen that it was the chat window of Bai Ningbing and Feng Wian.
The latest message was, "I have reached home." When she scrolled up, the entire chat box was filled with the same message.
In front of every message, there was a reddish.
3 hours went by in a blink of an eye. While watching, Bai Ningbing was still standing at the entrance door. Her eyes were fixed on the mobile, and she was not ready to go inside. Liu Huixian could not bear it anymore. She fell into her husband's arms and started crying.
Bai Xinhe slowly patted her wife's back and calmed her down. "Huixian, don't worry. Ningbing is not doing this for the first time. She will be fine in a while. You eat something first. You don't want to get sick from hunger." Liu Huixian shook her head with red eyes.
How can I not worry? First, after sending Ningbing a message, she kept her mobile for at most 1 hour. But now it's been 3 hours. Saying this, she quickly took out her mobile. "No, I have to call Fang Yuan." Bai Xinhe shook her head. "What are you doing?"
"Didn't we already decide that we will never bother that child again?" Liu Huixian said with a hoarse voice. "I can't think of all this now. I am his mother after seeing my daughter in this condition. How can I be careless?"
As soon as she finished, Liu Huixian pressed the call button. On the other hand, taking advantage of the fact that there was no class at night, Fang Yuan took you to a small supermarket in the western gate to buy things.
On the way back to the dormitory, they started chatting here and there. While talking, the topic finally came to you. Fang Yuan looked at you and asked with a mischievous smile, "The beautiful girl who came to find you in the afternoon is your childhood friend, right?"
Although she is not very well, but you two have been together for so many years. Have you never felt for her? You couldn't stop laughing. What? How is this possible? You don't know how much trouble she was going to cause in her childhood.
My head started hurting as soon as I saw her. Then where did the heartbeat come from? Childhood days came to your mind. Wherever you went, Bai Ningbing followed you like a small tail. Even when you went to the bathroom, she wanted to stick with you even when you were bathing.
In the beginning, you two were only 8 to 9 years old. The boy and the girl had no special feeling, so it was different. But as you grew up, you started to dislike her more. Xiao Yan was surprised. "Really?
Such a beautiful girl used to roam in front of you every day and you were not impressed at all?" You said with a helpless smile. Absolutely true.
Just remembering the last birth when I think that Ningbing gave her life for me, then a little anger comes in the heart, and a little regret also happens. She shouldn't have made me her only support, and she shouldn't have died for me at all. I have also thought about it well.
After being born again in this life, I will definitely cure Bai Ningbing's disease. Bai Ningbing goes to the hospital from her heart and opposes the treatment, and she doesn't even want to let the doctors come to her. But as long as you were with her, she would agree quietly.
After being an orphan from high school, you never met her again. She also stopped the treatment completely.
Sometimes I used to get to hear some things from others. Only then I used to know that her condition, which had improved a little after many years of hard work, had deteriorated again. But from now on, I will go to the hospital with her.
Xiao Yan wanted to make some more jokes that suddenly the mobile bell rang. She stopped talking to both of them in the middle. You took out your mobile. When she saw the word Liu Huishan shining on the screen, she was shocked for a moment.
The last time I met Auntie Liu was when I was was a student in high school. In these years of college, Auntie Liu used to call you sometimes, but every time it was about Bai Ningbing.
Either her disease would increase again, or she would refuse to get treatment and she wanted you to explain it to her. But you rejected all these requests one by one, because deep in your heart, you didn't want to have anything to do with Bai Ningbing anymore.
Over time, Liu Huishan also started calling you very little. Now she suddenly called, "Did Bai Ningbing's disease increase again?" Thinking this, you received the call quickly. Auntie Leo on the other side of the phone. Liu Huishan's voice was filled with deep sorrow.
Fang Yuan, Auntie knows that Ningbing was not smart before.
She must have troubled you a lot. It is natural that you feel bad about her, but now only you can make Ningbing understand. If you don't want to meet her, it's okay. Just talk to her twice. Tell her to cooperate properly in the treatment. Auntie will be very grateful to you.
You heard Liu Weishan's sobbing voice and immediately said to her calmly, "Auntie, don't worry. Has something happened to Ningbing? You tell me easily. Let's see if I can help or not." Liu Weishan still stood at the entrance door and saw Bai Ningbing. Tears had blinded her.
Today, as soon as she returned home, she was lost holding her mobile phone. It's been 3 hours. She stood at the entrance door and didn't move at all. She didn't eat anything for dinner. She is continuously sending you messages. Auntie knows that you had removed her long ago.
But she doesn't understand what it means. You were heartbroken. That's when you suddenly remembered this. There really was such an incident. That year in high school, you got angry and completely removed all contacts of Bai Ningbing. Time passed, and you slowly forgot about it.
You suddenly remembered that you had once told Bai Ningbing to inform you of her well-being when you reach home. At that time, you had also promised that you would definitely answer her message.
Is it possible that she was continuously looking at her mobile just waiting for your answer? You immediately said, "Auntie, please send me Bai Ningbing's mobile number. I will connect it again." As soon as she heard that you were ready to help, Liu Huixian got excited.
She immediately sent the number and immediately accepted Bai Ningbing's friendship request. Bai Ningbing's WeChat and profile picture were still the default of the system. Simple and sad, just like her nature. You couldn't help but smile. Then you sent her a message.
Did you reach home? You deliberately made it seem as if you didn't know anything. She didn't say a word about standing at the door for 3 hours. It wasn't long after the message was sent that a new answer came in the chat box.
Bai Ningbing's eyes at the door, which had been extinguished for a long time, suddenly shone. Her lips also had a faint smile. Fang Yuan had answered her. Fang Yuan must also be remembering her for sure.
After a long time, Bai Ningbing slowly calmed down from that endless happiness. Then she sent you a word slowly. This time she didn't have to wait long. Your message came almost immediately. "So, did you eat dinner? Don't forget to eat." Bai Ningbing got confused.
Her eyes met Liu Huixian and Bai Xinhe's worried eyes. She couldn't understand the hidden feelings in these eyes. Still, she said, "Dinner." Liu Huixian got up happily. "Yes, Mom will bring the food now." Bai Xinhe saw that her daughter was finally ready to eat something.
There was a smile on her face too, but the next moment she became sad again. Her daughter, who had been raised for more than 20 years, who usually ignored her and her wife's words, but did not take long to listen to someone else's words.
Isn't it better to listen to outsiders than your own people? However, the sadness disappeared in a moment. She shook Bai Ningbing's hand and called her. "Ningbing, come and eat. Sit here on the dining table." Bai Ningbing slowly walked to the table.
Her eating speed was slow, but there was also a strict rule in it. The first course should always be of rice. The more rice you eat, the more vegetables you have to eat. The amount of vegetables to be picked should also be exact.
Every step should be according to the rules already set. These actions seem very strange to outsiders. But Liu Huishan didn't care about it. As long as her daughter was eating properly, that was the most important thing for her.
After 15 minutes, only the last piece of eggplant was left in the plate. Bai Ningbing picked up the eggplant with a chopstick. With the last rice left in the bowl, she put it in her mouth exactly. Her actions were as if everything had been calculated in advance.
The plate and bowl were empty at the same time. She kept the chopstick and immediately took out her mobile and sent you a message.
Dinner is over. You replied in almost 2 words. Very good. After receiving the praise, Bai Ningbing's lips rose again. There was also a slight pride on her eyes and face. Then she turned around and happily went upstairs. Liu Huishan held her husband's hand. Her voice was trembling with excitement. Whenever I used to call Fang Yuan before, he always refused directly. But this time he is really ready to help. Does this mean that he has forgiven Ningbing?
If I ask him to go to the hospital with Ningbing and get her treated, will he agree? Bai Xinhe patted his wife's hand and said in a soft voice, calming her excitement, "Don't hurry. We will move forward slowly. Let's see the situation for 2 more days and understand."
At least it won't be that many hopes are tied, and everything is wasted in the end. Late night. 2 cars running at high speed collided with a powerful tractor. Red blood was spilling on the ground. Broken parts were scattered here and there. The scene was very scary.
Your eyes were filled with tears. Still, you were able to see the figure of that person. He had used all his strength to hold you tight in his arms. Without caring about the raging fire around, the flames of the fire illuminated his face.
Only your shadow was filled in those black eyes, until the blazing fire completely swallowed both of you. You suddenly woke up. Your back was completely soaked with cold sweat. Why did you come back to the dream of your death in the last life?
You wiped your sweat on your forehead and picked up the mobile kept near the pillow. It was 3 o'clock at night on the screen. You were about to sleep again after changing the curtain when suddenly the face of Bai Ningbing you saw in your dream came to your mind.
By the time you regained consciousness, your fingers had sent him a message on their own. Did you sleep? You realized after sending the message that she must still be awake. How is this possible? You shuddered and rubbed your forehead lightly.
And to retrieve the message, you were about to press it when suddenly the mobile screen lit up. This was Bai Ningbing's answer. No, you saw these 2 words and blinked your eyes.
You checked the time again and again that it was really 3 o'clock at night, not 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You immediately sent another message. Why haven't you slept yet? What are you doing? Bai Ningbing replied, I am lying on the bed. You got a little confused.
After a while, you realize that when ordinary people lie on the bed, they either use their mobile phones or do some other work. But Bai Ningbing's lying on the bed was the literal meaning of the words. Just lying, doing nothing. Perhaps she was lost again.
You remembered the story of the age of 8. Once Bai Ningbing stayed at your house at night. However, it would not be right to call it staying at night. In fact, she was sticking to you and was not ready to return home.
At that time, Liu Huixian had separated you two with great difficulty. So Bai Ningbing started crying and making a fuss. She even started hitting her head. It was clear that her illness had recurred.
In the end, without seeing any solution, Liu Huixian had to leave her at your house. That night, she slept on the same bed with you. In the middle of the night, you woke up due to urination. As soon as you opened your eyes, you saw her big round eyes.
You asked enthusiastically, why are you not sleeping? At that time, Bai Ningbing's words were not completely clear. She stammered and said, sleeping? Staying? You shook your head and said to her seriously, no, this is not right. You have to close your eyes while sleeping.
You extended your small round hand and slowly placed it on Bai Ningbing's eyes. Look, like this. When you felt that her eyes were moving under your palm, you immediately said, don't open your eyes. Bai Ningbing became completely still.
Then you were satisfied and closed your eyes and slept. In a short while, both of them slept soundly. Thinking about the memory of that distance, you laughed uncontrollably and sent her another message. You have to close your eyes while sleeping.
Bai Ningbing replied quickly, I know Fang Yuan taught me. After reading this sentence, the smile on your face became even deeper. You sent another message. Now close your eyes and sleep like a good child.
You also sent a sticker in which the father pig was sleeping on the head of the little pig. You knew very well that Bai Ningbing might not understand the meaning of this sticker, but you felt that this sticker is absolutely suitable for the feeling of this time.
Wasn't your condition like an old father who puts a child to sleep? After getting the sticker, Bai Ningbing was really stunned for a moment. She could understand every word, but could not understand the meaning of the picture.
But when she saw the act of waving her head, her eyes suddenly shone, as if stars had suddenly risen in the night sky. Does Fang Yuan want to wave his head? In the dark, Bai Ningbing's shoulders were slightly tanned.
She kept looking at the sticker for a long time, until she started to feel sleepy. Then she put her mobile in her chest and slowly closed her eyes. The mobile kept near the pillow again shone. This was the same head-shaking sticker sent by her.
2 days later, your mother called you. You mentioned the report of the last medical check. You explained to your father, I always tell him to take care of his health. Do not eat outside food for no reason. But he does
does not listen. Now you see, after eating you got sick.
Hearing your mother's complaint, your heart was shocked. Although you already had some idea, you were still scared. What happened? What disease did your father get? That's when your father's voice was heard from the other side of the phone. What else could it be?
It's just high blood pressure, high blood sugar, and high cholesterol. Your mother is making a big deal out of it. She is behaving as if I have become an incurable disease. She does not let me eat. She does not let me touch. That's when your mother stopped her in a loud voice.
The doctor has clearly said that I will have to take care of you. You will have to eat healthy, and you will have to exercise regularly. From now on, don't even think about eating all those fried things. If I see you even once, I will confiscate all your hidden pocket money.
Knowing that lung cancer is not a serious disease, you took a deep breath and immediately took your mother's side and said, "Mother is absolutely right. You keep an eye on your father and get him to quit smoking. Anyway, smoking is harmful to health."
Your mother shook her head continuously. That is necessary. Your father said with a sigh next to him, "Now the work is done. All the fun in life is over." Tuesday was the busiest day of your week. Coincidentally, the first 2 classes were of the teacher.
In order not to be late, you had to get up in the morning and run towards the classroom. On the other hand, Bai Ningbing got up at 6 in the morning. At 7, she was sitting comfortably on the back seat of the car.
Liu Huixian was looking at her daughter's back and was worried about her face. The driver was not going to leave Bai Ningbing under your umbrella for the first time. He patted Liu Huixian on the chest and reassured her, "Madam, you don't worry.
I will definitely take good care of Miss."
The class this morning was really very exciting. It was not even long after the bell rang that more than half of the students had already lost their way. In reality, there were very few who bowed their heads and listened to the lecture, and you, by chance, were one of them.
You had almost forgotten the knowledge points of the university long ago. Now, if you don't learn them back with all your heart and soul, you will definitely fail in the exam of the semester.
If you really had to wait till the second semester of the 4th year, when other people will be busy with the internship, and only you will be embarrassed to come back to school and give the re-exam, and that sight would be so awkward and shameful.
In the afternoon, as soon as the bell rang, you and Xiaoyan went straight to the canteen to have lunch. After eating, you returned to the dormitory.
The plan was to use up all the time and take a nap in the afternoon, so that the energy could be collected for the afternoon classes. You were lying on the bed on your stomach, half asleep and half awake. The phone next to the pillow suddenly rang with the sound of a ding-dong.
You picked up the phone in a sleepy state. It was clearly visible on the screen that it was a message from Liu Huixian. It was a message from Liu Huixian. "Have you and Ningbing eaten lunch? I heard it's raining in the capital today. Let her go home soon after eating."
You rubbed your tired eyes, but your eyes were still dizzy. You replied in the same way, "Auntie, have you sent a message to the wrong person?" As soon as the message was sent, Liu Huixian's phone rang.
You couldn't even say anything that you could hear her very worried voice from the other side. "Ningbing went to the capital early in the morning today. Didn't she go to meet you?" These words were like lightning from the sky. In a moment, all your sleep flew away.
You suddenly jumped out of bed and sat down. Your voice was full of surprise. "Ningbing has come to find me? I had no idea. Auntie, don't worry first. I'll go to the school gate and see." You got out of bed in a hurry.
You thought that if Ningbing had really come, she would still be waiting for you at the school gate. You changed your clothes quickly. The action was so big that Xiaoyan fell asleep. Xiaoyan woke up with sleepy eyes. He asked, "Auntie, where are you going in such a hurry?"
You said without turning back, "Ningbing has come to find me. I'm going out, take my books to the classroom in the afternoon. I don't think I'll be back for a while. It wasn't even finished that you came out of the umbrella like a gust of wind." Xiaoyan lay down on the bed again.
He muttered in a sleepy state. As soon as he heard the news of Sundari's arrival, he left the afternoon sleep and said that he had no interest in it. The ghost will believe this. You ran all the way to the big tree near the school gate.
You looked up and saw that there was really a familiar figure standing there quietly. You started panting while running. You reached in front of Bai Ningbing, crossing the 3-step distance in 2 steps. There was a slight complaint in the voice.
"Why didn't you tell me when you came?" The moment you were seen, Bai Ningbing's eyes were firmly fixed on you. Her eyes sparkled. The corners of her lips were slightly raised. But as soon as she heard your question, she immediately rubbed her lips.
Her eyes began to wander here and there. She couldn't dare to look you in the eye. You didn't hurry her either. You just stood there quietly, waiting for her to speak. Bai Ningbing's fingers were constantly twirling around the edge of her skirt.
This was a habit of hers when she was nervous. She quietly raised her head and looked at you. When she saw that you were still patiently waiting, Bing, she slowly whistled after a long hesitation. I was afraid that the ghost wouldn't want to see me. You were shocked to hear this.
Just because she thought you didn't want to meet her, she would like to stand at the school gate all day, but she wouldn't dare to tell you that she was here. You opened your mouth. You wanted to clarify. When did I say that I didn't want to meet you?
But the conversation suddenly stopped halfway through, because you really said that. It was the night of the next day of the exam. The class had arranged a feast. Ai Ningbing was insisting that she would go with you.
On top of that, her parents were also constantly trying to make her understand. In the end, you took her with you out of helplessness. The boys and girls of Kishorawastha hide a person somewhere in their hearts who excites their hearts.
During the feast, some companions even expressed their love there. Some successfully became a couple, and you also had a companion girl in your mind whom you secretly liked. During the feast, you couldn't stop yourself and secretly looked at her many times.
But Bai Ningbing never understood how to teach the environment. She asked directly in a loud voice in front of the whole class and the teachers, "Divan, why are you looking at her again and again?"
As soon as this came out, more than 50 students of the class turned their eyes towards you. Those piercing eyes made you such a state that you wanted to sink into the ground. There, you became completely ashamed socially.
And that companion girl just looked at you lightly and said to her friend who was sitting next to her without any emotion, "I don't know her very well." Her little sentence was like a bucket of cold water which just now extinguished the love in your heart.
The flowers of the spring had not even bloomed yet, that they were completely crushed. After returning home that day, you said to your parents in tears that you never want to meet Bai Ningbing in this life.
Now think, maybe this was one of the reasons why your friendship was broken. And in your last meeting, you even shouted at her like a hysteria that you never want to see her face again. Forget it. You shook your head lightly.
You brought back the scattered thoughts back to the present. You saw in her eyes and said in a very serious tone, "Those were all old things. I want to meet you now. So next time, whenever you come to meet me, do let me know first. Understood?"
As soon as she heard this, Bai Ningbing's eyes were filled with brightness, as if she had picked up a shiny flower in her heart. She smiled on her lips and shook her head vigorously.
If the emotionless face of her ordinary days looked as cold as snow that had not melted for 1,000 years, then the smile on her face was as bright and passionate as the spring decorated with hundreds of flowers. When the students who used to come and go from the gate of the
school would see this scene, they would be stunned one by one.
Even the driver who came with Bai Ningbing was surprised to see this and remained speechless. He hurriedly took out his mobile phone, clicked a picture of her with a click sound, and sent it immediately. As soon as she received the picture, Liu Huixian was also surprised.
His mobile fell to the ground with a thud sound. When she regained consciousness, she became mad with joy. She was so excited that she wanted to print 20-30 copies of this picture and hang it in every corner of the house.
Bai Ningbing's smile was actually an attraction that attracted the city with a smile. You only thought of her as a friend, but still could not stop your cheeks from turning red.
Then what to say when such a beautiful lady was looking at you without blinking? How could you not be ashamed of being a beautiful woman? Your eyes began to twinkle a little unnaturally. You said quickly, "Stop smiling."
Bai Ningbing was as orderly as ever. She immediately rubbed her lips and again made the same serious face without a smile. You coughed a little, raised your hand, and patted your hot cheeks. You asked, "How long have you been waiting here? Did you have lunch?"
Bai Ningbing did not answer. Suddenly, she raised a finger and gently touched your cheek, and then spoke softly, "Your cheeks have turned red." You quickly explained, "This is not due to shame. I have run very fast. I was very tired. That is why my face turned red, due to the heat."
You could not dare to say that your face has turned red. You were afraid that if she started questioning, then there would be no end to it. You quickly changed the subject. "You have not yet answered my question. Have you eaten or not?" Bai Ningbing remembered that you had asked 2 questions. She did not leave even one. She answered clearly 1 hour and 37 minutes. You did not eat. Your heart trembled a little. Usually, if you go somewhere with friends, you get impatient after waiting for 5 minutes.
But she really did not stand there without moving and waited for more than an hour. For a moment, an indescribable tension arose in your heart. "If I had not come out, would you have been waiting here till dark?" Bai Ningbing answered seriously. She returned home at 8:20 p.m.
It was a 4-hour journey. It was 11:30 p.m. when we reached Rajdhani. You were stunned for a moment. Your voice became a little heavy. Would you have gone back so late? The driver standing nearby, Lin Zhang, quickly advanced the matter. How would she not be worried?
Every time when Miss Su comes to the city, the madam becomes so so worried that she cannot even eat. She is always afraid that something might happen to Miss Sue, or that her health might deteriorate suddenly. But you know Miss Sue's nature. She does not listen to anyone except you.
You immediately took hold of her main words. You were surprised. Has she come to meet me many times? Lin Jiang shook her head. Her voice was full of emotions. Yes, since you have come to Rajanani to study at the University of the World, Miss Sue comes to see you every Tuesday.
She comes to see you, but after coming, she just stands at the gate of the school. She does not go inside, nor does she call you out. I guess it is because you once said that you do not want to meet Miss Sue again. That is why she does not dare to say anything.
She just comes to see the University of the World where you study. Now you are in your 4th year. It has been more than 3 years since you entered the University of the World. In these 3 years, she has come here every Tuesday.
If we leave aside the holidays of summer and winter, she has come here more than 110 times. She came here so many times and you did not even realize it. Suddenly, you remembered that conversation that you had heard in the conversations of your classmates.
Near the gate of the school, a beautiful girl was often seen waiting for someone. People assumed that she had a fight with her lover. That is why she comes to the school to stop him. But even at night, her lover was not seen. Initially, this seemed very interesting.
Everyone was very excited. Everyone was guessing who this beautiful girl was waiting for all day long. But the lover was never seen. Whether it was rain or sun, this beautiful girl came on time every month and every year. Gradually, everyone lost their enthusiasm.
Then someone even stopped mentioning it. At that time, Xiao Yan was also pulling you and saying that, let's go to the gate of the school and see how wonderful that beautiful girl is. But when you both reached the gate of the school, no beautiful girl was seen there.
There was only a black car standing on the side of the road, which looked ordinary but very luxurious. At a glance, it was clear that this could not be the car of an ordinary family.
As soon as you heard this, you suddenly turned and started looking at the car brought by Lin Jing. In your memories, the car you saw at that time was exactly like this car. In your past life, the car you saw on the bus was also looking like this.
Was she also following you at that time? Now you understand why she was shown at the scene of that accident. And you also understand that despite being so clingy when you went to study in the university and really separated from her, why did she stop bothering you?
You kept thinking like a fool that maybe her illness was not that serious, or maybe it was completely cured. But now you realize that the signs of many things were already there. Her illness was never cured. After understanding all these things, you bowed your head.
Your eyes turned slightly red and asked in a heavy voice, "Then, when I used to pass by the gate of the school, why didn't I see her?" Lin Zheng replied slowly, "Because she always used to hide. She was afraid that you would say that she doesn't listen to you."
But since last year, you have been seen very rarely. You were lost for a few moments. You remembered that incident of the 3rd year when the burden of studies was very heavy, and you used to leave the gate of the school only in the week.
After reaching the 4th year, the day of Tuesday was full of classes, so it was even more impossible. So was it only because she hadn't seen you for more than a year? So this time when you came running to meet her, she was standing still there. She didn't even get time to hide.
You bowed your head. Your mind became very sad. Bai Ningbing may have felt your bad state of mind. She got scared immediately. She quickly raised her hand and patted your shoulder. Her voice was full of fear. Dao Yuan, don't cry.
She did it with clumsiness as you usually used to convince her. She slowly put her hand on your head. Lin Zheng was very emotional after seeing Bai Ningbing's behavior.
He had been working in the Bai family for 4 years and had been Bai Ningbing's driver for more than 3 years. As he had been with her for a long time, he had already started considering her as a member of his family.
He took a deep breath and said, Mr. Fang, although I know it may not be right to say this now, but I still want to say it. Miss really likes you a lot. You clenched your fists and slowly let them loose.
Finally, you raised your hand and held Bai Ningbing's hand, which was on your forehead. You pressed your heart and said in a soft voice, I am not crying. Let me take you to eat. You have been late.
There was only cold food left. You looked around, but you didn't see any dish of Bai Ningbing's choice. Finally, you bought only 1 plate of egg fried rice for her so that she could work. You took her to the canteen and put the fried rice on her plate.
First, eat it and fill
your stomach. If you feel hungry later, I will ask the driver to order something else for you. On your way back, sit in the car and eat comfortably. Bai Ningbing took the plate from your hand and started eating slowly. You were sitting next to her.
Suddenly, you saw Lin Zhang standing 10 meters away from you, and you remembered what she said. Miss really likes you a lot. Does Bai Ningbing really understand what it means to like someone? You called out slowly. Bai Ning, the spoon in her hand stopped for a moment.
She raised her head and quietly looked at you. Her eyes were full of anticipation. She was waiting to hear your next word. You chose your words carefully and asked, did you recently go to Dr. Qian?
Dr. Qian was one of the most famous experts in the country. He was also treating the disease of Bai Ningbing. When she was 6 years old, Dr. Qian was treating her. When you used to go to the hospital with her, you would often meet Dr. Qian. Dr. Qian had a very good nature.
He used to smile all day and often gave you toffees. There was a time when you especially liked going to Dr. Qian with Bai Ningbing. As soon as Bai Ningbing heard the name of Dr. Qian, her eyebrows shrunk slightly. You could see clearly the disagreement and dislike on her face.
You softened your voice and asked again, did you go? You kissed her lips. She was clearly angry and said 2 words without hesitation. No, you were not at all surprised at this answer. Her disease had never healed, so she certainly did not go for treatment.
You asked further, why? Why didn't you go? Bai Ningbing's spoon-holding hand suddenly tightened. Her arms shrunk deeply. She began to breathe heavily. Suddenly, she raised her voice and shouted, I will not go. She raised her hand and dropped the plate of fried rice on the floor.
Seeing this sudden turn, you were completely stunned for a moment. The first response was given by Lin Zheng. He jumped forward and immediately grabbed Bai Ningbing's hand so that he could not hurt himself.
Lin Zheng shouted in fear, I have medicine in my pocket. Take it out quickly and give it to the miss.